Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing right now. There was a really good question that was just asked of me a few minutes ago. It was emailed. Chris@Perillo.com is how you would get a hold of me to ask a question or just interact with me in general. Google is one of the most powerful companies in the world with access to one of the largest user databases. In your opinion, is there a point where Google becomes too powerful? How much is too much in terms of corporations having information on their users? Years ago, everyone was freaking out because they thought Microsoft, with I think it was the Hailstorm initiative, what then turned into .NET, and then the Live ID. I mean, they've had different iterations of this product. They were freaking out. They're like, "Oh, Microsoft's going to own our data and privacy." And now the same thing's happening with Google and Facebook and other large companies. Is there ever going to come a point where Google will be too powerful? I'm going to say that we're not quite there yet, but we're getting there. In the sense that as a website owner, and as someone who consults with other website owners, they pay me, they're my clients, Google is an amazing driver of traffic. It's like your own efforts and Google. Google brings everybody and everything. And that's great when it works. But when it doesn't work, your traffic shrinks to nothing. And suddenly something that was working really well doesn't anymore. Because Google has become so powerful. It's like Google and everybody else as far as searching is concerned. Much like in the tablet market, it's the iPad or Apple and everybody else. Just like in the social networking world. I mean, we hear about Twitter, sure, and I'm on Twitter too, @Chris Perillo, but it's Facebook and everybody else. Facebook is just as formidable as Google might be in terms of access to our information. In fact, I'll go as far as to say I think Facebook's borderline creepier than Google because of that fact. And I got nothing against Facebook. I like Facebook. But I also understand that that's a private entity. I don't have any say over really what goes on there in terms of direction of the website and the privacy policy, which they seem to change on a whim. They're getting better, admittedly. But Facebook, has like how much of the globe at this point? Huge. Huge. And all that user information. Facebook, I would argue, is more powerful than Google. I'm not saying that one is better than the other, but if you just think about it, in terms of social and user information, I would argue that Facebook has more information on you than Google does at this point. That's likely to change, theoretically. Well, at some point, maybe. We don't know, because Google, every time they try a social endeavor, it ultimately fails. Everything they've tried in social has failed. Orkut, one of the first social networks that I remember joining way back when, it's still around, but no one really uses it. It's kind of like it's Friendster or MySpace at this point. It's not relevant. Google Buzz, it's not really relevant. In fact, Google got sued because of the way that they incorporated Google Buzz in Gmail, and people didn't like the way that it was done. Google should have known better. They're a big entity. Any large entity, any large private entity that makes money off of you without you spending money should be watched like a hawk. Any company. This isn't about Google. This is not about Facebook. This is not about Microsoft. This is not about any company, Apple included. Any company that gets so large that they can destroy everybody else, it's a problem. It's a big problem. That's bad. It's bad. I have people emailing me and saying, "Chris, what do? I used to rank really well in the search engine." I'm like, well, we're really going to have to buckle down and do some work. And we do. That's the type of client we take on. We do SEO, SEM, content management. We do a lot of these services for our clients. That got hit by these Google changes because Google drove so much traffic and then it changed. Their business model could have very well been destroyed because they were counting on Google to drive all their traffic, and Google decided, you know what, you're doing something wrong. We're not going to tell you what you're doing wrong, but you did something wrong and you're no longer going to rank. You could be looking for work. That's dangerous. I'm not saying that Facebook's in the same category as that in terms of user information, which was the question. I'm just parlaying it and saying that Google can be dangerous in a business capacity. Yeah, you don't want any one company having that much control over anything. It's spooky. And I'm not going to say that open source is going to save the day. Open source is a marketing tactic by and large. Not to say that I disagree with the ethos. I am very much a proponent of open source because it's the way we learn and grow together. But by and large, products that are commercially successful typically aren't open source. They are controlled in some capacity. Even Google with Android had to rein it back in, pull everything in, and then control it before they could release, well, at least newer versions of the operating system. And I said they would do that long before they did. It's just inevitable. Well, at least it was inevitable. I figured it was inevitable. I just like using. This is the drinking game for this video. Every time I said the word inevitable, take a drink. It's my rant juice. Ranting juice? I don't know, rant juice? Either way, you may agree, you may disagree. What are your thoughts? Is Google too powerful? Let's take it. Is Facebook too powerful? Is Apple too powerful? Is Microsoft too powerful? Is RIM too powerful? I couldn't even get through that last one. Sorry. Not to offend any BlackBerry owners out there. All three of you at this point. What company do you believe is too powerful? Leave a comment. Video response, either way. You can feel free to tweet me at Chris Pirillo or at LockerGnome. Either way, we'll catch what you're saying. And then, of course, you're welcome to comment on the blog post. chris.pirillo.com is where you can find me. Subscribe to the RSS feed or the email newsletter. LockerGnome.com probably has a bevy of related content to powerful companies and business tactics, etc. And then, of course, we've got LockerGnome.net, Facebook.com/Chris Pirillo. See, I use these services too. I've got a Google Buzz profile. I don't really use it, but I've got one. EmpireAvenue.com/Pirillo. Empire Avenue is far more relevant to me than Google Buzz is at this point. I could be the only one, and I don't think I am. A lot of people are addicted to Empire Avenue, making a lot of business there. Love it. That helps pay the bills. Thank you to all my clients. I appreciate you and everything that you need us to do for you. So, you got my email address, chris@pirillo.com, the blog, chris.pirillo.com. What am I missing? Oh, yeah! The live video feed. It's got a chat room. Geeking out. Usually a little more casual talk, but clean, friendly, by and large. We keep it that way, and I'm very grateful for the chat room moderators for doing so. And, of course, you can join us there, the live video feed of the chat room. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, at live.pirillo.com. We'll see you later.